Hey guys, it's Bethany here with another Bling Tumbler tutorial for you. Today I have this awesome Snow Leopard Bling tutorial, and it's actually a cozy. I love it because it can hold the normal size cans, the skinny cans, or you can unscrew the lid and use it as a drink holder. So I'm going to show you how I did this. I did order my stones off of AliExpress, so I'll go through those steps shortly and see if I can link to it. It's a little tricky when you order things from AliExpress and it takes a while. I wanted to order in bulk because I had several projects in mind, so that's why I ordered so many stones. Here I'm just mixing up some epoxy, and I want to do a base on my tumbler. So I did sand it first. I got it all washed and clean, so all of the dust was taken off of it. And then I just mixed in a little bit of silver glitter with my epoxy. And I did this because if I have any gaps in my stones, then what I want to have peeking out is some glitter so that there's still an all-around shine. This step is optional, and you can tell that I didn't get full coverage on it, but that wasn't super important to me. It was just important that I get a base coat and have some of the glitter peeking out when possible. So I went through and I let it cure for the 12 hours, and then I moved on to the vinyl, which is in the next step. And I torched it to get the bubbles out, and then I follow up with some isopropyl alcohol. And that I do right away just so that I can clean off any wet epoxy before it cures. You can wait till it cures, but it's a lot more difficult to get it out. Okay, so basically what you see me doing here is going into Cricut. I did have an original voiceover, but the quality of the audio was just garbage, so I'm redoing it. At any rate, I found a leopard print pink file that I really liked so that it had a blank background to it. I didn't end up using the center spots, but I'll talk about that in a bit. And so I measured around the widest part of my tumbler first, because we first have to adjust the width, and you'll see that I got 10.25 inches. So I'm just going to mess with the width. I'm not going to worry about anything else. I will have extra spots, but I'm going to more or less individually place all of them once this is done. Another method you can use is to paint your spots on if you don't have a Cricut or a Silhouette. But this was the option that I went for, and you'll see that I start cutting it out and then weeding in just a bit. Okay, so here you can see I have my first mat, and that is for the black outline. I had two mats on this, but I will say that I failed miserably on my second mat, and it just wasn't the proper vinyl. I didn't have my settings set properly, it didn't cut it out, and I just didn't have a second sheet on hand that would have matched up with the medium colored center of my leopard spots. So I ended up just leaving them off completely. I'm pretty happy with how the inner part of the spots turned out, though. I don't think it mattered that I didn't have an exact matching background for them. However, I will say that I really made sure to get all of my stones nice and tight. So my glitter phase in the beginning probably wasn't super necessary. The only spot where you're going to see any of the glitter anyway is on the base of the cup. But I'm still glad I went through and did it. It was a nice touch because you don't bling the bottom of your cup typically. It just makes the base less stable, and your cup could tip over, and that just wouldn't be good. So, or it could chip and then it would become unstable. Just, it's not a good situation. So a nice cheat for it is to just glitter the bottom, and you'll see that I do add my vinyl. So here I'm just weeding. Again, my settings must not be right. This is the first time I was using this specific vinyl, so it didn't weed quite as easily as I had hoped, but I made do. So now you see that I am placing down my spots. Because it's a little bit tricky, I mean, I did get enough where I can wrap around the entire top because I measured it properly. And so it would meet. But the bottom, because it's a curved cup, then it makes it a little bit trickier. And I knew that going into it. So I planned on kind of just individually placing each spot kind of where I wanted it more so. So you'll see that I kind of pick and pull once I get further down, and I get to pick my favorite spots for that section. So for the top, I'm trying to get it and keep the spots right where they were, but that doesn't entirely pan out, and I do have to fill in here and there. But that's the nice thing, when you cut more spots than are needed, then you just pick and choose the ones that you like and just carefully apply them. Another great method for this, if you don't have a Cricut or a Silhouette or any other kind of vinyl cutter, another great option for this is to simply get some paint and then hand paint on some spots, because you don't have to be real clean with it. You can just kind of paint them on however you would like and kind of do these blobs. And so that's a real easy method. And then you would just simply seal it when you're done. Wait till it fully cures, seal it when you're done with epoxy, and then you're good to go. This is pretty important though, to have black for your background so that you can do the proper color to match with your stones. And then you always want to carry your design onto the bottom of your cup. And there you have it. It's now ready for my second coat of clear epoxy. So this part is pretty simple and self-explanatory. I'm just going over it with just a clear coat of epoxy. I want to add this layer to fully encase the vinyl so that it doesn't peel up or lift at any point in time. I'm going all the way to the edges, and I will get the bottom. You want to make sure that your vinyl is pressed down very good before you do this step. Otherwise, it can start to lift in the process and you'll end up with those crinkles or the vinyl sticking up through the epoxy. So you just don't want to end up with any floaters here. That would be really frustrating, and you'd basically have to strip your cup and start over, or come up with kind of some other solution. So I, again, am popping the bubbles, and then we let that cure. Again, you have to get the inside of the cup so that before it cures, so that you can get rid of that epoxy, because as I said before, you don't want to wait till it cures. Once it cures, you can get it off, but you really need to heat up the cup, and then you need to scrape with an X-Acto knife, and that can leave scratch marks, which I think does not look good. Okay, so my cup has been epoxied. I lightly went and sanded just the sides. I left the bottom unsanded because I'm not putting jewels on the bottom or the rhinestones. I'm going to just apply them to the sides of my cup. So I went ahead and just kind of lightly scuffed it up. I still want the glitter to show through in between the stones. Again, it's kind of lightly dispersed, but that should be enough to kind of help out. So then I went ahead and I made up my own mix. I had these different size stones, so I had size 6, 10, and 12 of the black and the dark silver. And then of the lighter silver that'll be on the main cup, I have a few more stone sizes thrown in my mix. And I just took like a pinch and dropped it in from each bag, and that kind of created my custom mix. So now the important thing is, after you sand, you want to wash with soap and water and dry it really well to get all of the dust off of your cup. And now I'm just going to kind of start at the brim, and I'm going, or at the top of the rim of the cup, and I'm going to just pull randomly from my mix, and we're going to do the scatter method. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I already moved some of my glue, my liquid fusion, into this nice little bottle, so it's easier to dispense the glue onto the cup, and then I can control the flow a little bit better. And then I'm going to use my crystal katana tool. Another little tip I have is when you store this, I have a box over here, and I just set it, I put this on and I store it upside down so that all of the glue remains down at the bottom, and then I don't have to wait for it to come down in order to use it. And then I'm going to be using my tan 2 for some of the smaller crystals, and then my crystal katana. I'm going to try to use this for most of the project, and then just this one if I need to for the smaller stones. Here you can see I'm starting to bling the tumbler. I'm just going to let the camera roll and let you guys watch and enjoy. I always find it mesmerizing and soothing when I'm watching somebody who is blinging out some kind of project, so I figured I would just let it roll and let you enjoy. I'll pop back on at the end. Feel free to fast forward if you just want to see the finished product. And that's a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you do have any questions or comments, please comment down below and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. This was a really fun, kind of neutral project. I didn't want my name on it. I just wanted to have the snow leopard print. So I hope you guys all love the way that it turned out as much as I do. I've already gotten dozens of compliments on it whenever I take it anywhere I go. And it of course sparkles more than what you can see in the video. So it was a really fun project to work on. It kept me busy. I just picked it up here and there since before Christmas actually. So it took me a while to finish, but I love the scatter method and I love how tight you can get all of your stones and more precise as opposed to the honeycomb method. Thanks guys. Have a wonderful day.